Hi, just a quick test there of volume for YouTube. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Atlantic Motorsport Park for the last motorcycle racing event of 2025, which is the Mack and Jack Memorial Endurance Race. The race originally was for Mack McConey, a gentleman from New England. Then after the passing of Jack Canfield, they've also, to commemorate all the efforts that Jack put into the track here, they've changed the name to the Mack and Jack. When it originally was formed, it was the race was one lap for every year of the age of Mack. But then he lived so long that they had to change the format. It ended up being the 2-hour format. Yeah, I'm just taking a pause there so Andy Hill could give me a little bit of a history lesson there. It actually went from years of Mack's age, then went to miles because that was a little bit shorter, and they could continue on with a tradition of the age, and then that was too much, so then they went to the 2 hours after that. Today, though, is a different format. We're continuing on with the race format that was last year. They've used this in the past as well, and this one here is they're going to go out in waves. We got 6 total waves this afternoon, and the waves are separated by 3 minutes, other than the first wave, which now is Wayne Canfield heading down pit lane. He's going to start this endurance race off. He'll have 6 minutes out there doing a couple of laps. And then we'll start wave 2. And then it'll continue on up to wave 6 every 3 minutes. The way that the waves were chosen were based on the riders' lap times here at Atlantic Motorsport Park. If they were in teams, it was an average of the 3 members to know how early you're going to start or how late. So the first wave now, Wayne Canfield heading out there, heading down turn 1. Shortly here in a couple seconds coming out of turn 2. The next wave is going to be a solo rider, the 141 of Tony Martin. And then the 15, which is the team of Pat Patterson, David Vitan, and Steve Canfield. Not sure which of those 3 riders are going to start it off. Well, Wayne Canfield completing the first lap here of the 2025 Mack and Jack Memorial Endurance Race. Talk a bit about the format there. The way that the times were decided were to allow the riders to all finish the race close to the same time. So all the riders that maybe if you're typically here at Atlantic Motorsport Park doing a 22, 23, 24, it was to give you the opportunity to have a go at the win here this afternoon. Once the waves start, it's going to be the first rider to finish 62 laps.
Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. 3-minute call for wave 2. 3-minute call for wave 2.
There we go. So we got a 3-minute call for the next two riders going out, which is the solo rider of Tony Martin, and then the team effort there on bike number 15. Looking at the waves, we have 11. I believe it's 17 groups out. Talk a little bit maybe about how these team riders and how doing the gas works here. All the machinery had to be on pit lane before the start of the race, so you see all the riders' bikes there along pit lane. They have the first wave, second wave closer to the front, and then they're in order as they make their way back here towards the tower. For the riders that need to stop in for gas, they have fire extinguishers along the pit lane there. And the sequence of filling the bike would be a rider would get off, stand would go on, machinery off, one person in the pit crew holding the extinguisher, and then someone else filling the bike. So they take that safety of filling the bikes quite seriously because of the bikes being hot. So you'll see that when riders start to come in to get some fuel, there's a little bit of an operation that needs to happen. This format is a little bit shorter than the other laps or the 2-hour endurance race. That one there, we've got into 95, 96, 97 laps. So we're starting. There we go. The next.
Attention the paddock. 3-minute call, wave 3. 3-minute call, wave 3.
All right, Tony Martin and that group there on the 15 bike. I'll wait to see when the rider comes around to see who was the first rider. It looked like it might have been David Vitan from the Leathers. I seen him walking through the paddock there earlier this morning, so that I believe is David Vitan. That group on board a Honda CBR 600. Tony Martin there, we can see now coming over the top of 5 with, I'll just say it's David Vitan. I'll confirm once he gets closer, but they are on that CBR 600 and Tony Martin on the Yamaha R3. Did hear the 3-minute call there as soon as those riders went out. So I'm sure there's only about a minute left there before the next wave goes out. So those riders, I'd recommend getting up to the start-finish line there. You only got probably a minute left before you got to go out. So I would get up there. There is 6 bikes going out for this one here. So that's going to be the 145 of Greg McInnes, Angus McClarty, and Jonathan Anderson. Followed by the 46 of Jarrett Campbell, the 195 of Angus Campbell, the 72 of Scott Campbell and Paul Clark, the 177 of Kathleen Coburn and Jonathan Head, and the 2 of William Fonsavon and Colin Bell. So they are close. It looks like he is almost ready to wave those riders in. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the bikes. Looks like we just need one more. There it is there. Yep, all the riders ready to go up front. Seconds away. We're going to have 3 waves out there now. Wave 2 crossing the line. At the beginning when they first went out, I noticed that David Vitan was pulling away from Tony Martin, but looks like Tony Martin is getting into the groove out there. Crossing the line 0.3 of a second faster than David Vitan.
Attention to the paddock. Attention to the paddock. 3-minute call, wave 4. 3-minute call, wave 4.
So now we have 6, 7, 8, 9 of the 17 bikes out there now, with second wave heading down the back straightaway. Very similar lap times from wave 2, 1:21.6 and a 1:21.3 from Tony Martin. You can see them now. It is about half a second going into turn 9. Tony Martin made up a couple of bike lengths there. Now here comes wave number 3. It's in the lead. It is, I believe that's Jonathan Anderson starting off that trio into turn 9. Jonathan Anderson, sponsored by Nova Drilling. On to the front straightaway. Jarrett Campbell there in second of that wave, followed by Angus Campbell. We'll see which one, whether it was Scott or Paul that went out first there. I believe I was going to say, I thought I seen Paul's hat. And I believe Jonathan, it might have been Kathleen Coburn went out there first, followed by, let's see who's out there, William or Colin Bell. I see Colin Bell, I believe, under his tower. Yep, there he is. Give me the wave. Yep, perfect. So it's William Fonsavon out there for that group. That is Kathleen Coburn out for that group. She's coming off turn 7, able to get around Jonathan Anderson. So is William Fonsavon here into... I thought he was going to get around Jonathan Anderson into turn 9, but Wayne Canfield was there, so I pulled a smart move, and he was going to wait maybe a couple of corners. So leading wave 2. Get mixed up with all the bikes. Actually, Jonathan Anderson is leading that group. I thought he was coming back there through back through the pack, but
5.
But that was Angus Campbell that was moving back a little bit. Jonathan Anderson is opened up about 4 seconds on this wave here, heading down the back straightaway. He's going through 6B now, and the rest of the group going over the top of 5. So he's opened up about 6 seconds on this wave here. Trying to track down wave number 2 with Kathleen Coburn not messing around, going up the inside of Angus Campbell into turn 7. As he mentioned there, wave 4 has gone out. We see those 3 bikes heading down the back straightaway, started by Mark Wilson. I believe that is Stanley Johnson. On board the 51. That team is Stanley Johnson and Cronus Roberts. Looks like Stanley Johnson taking the first stint here. The other one, Mark Wilson, I was just talking about, coming onto the front straightaway. He's teamed up with Ruan Dino, which I see him on pit lane giving Mark the thumbs up. Then the other way, Phil Warnell and Connor Warnell. I believe that was Connor making the first leg of this race. The next wave getting ready to go out. That's Randy Bennett there heading down the paddock. We got 4 riders going out on this wave, which is going to be Darcy George and Mario Richard on board that Yamaha R3, followed by Randy Bennett on his Superbike, Andy Hutchinson on his Yamaha R6, and Corey Canfield and Gary McKinnon on the Kawasaki 400. From here, it looks like it might be Darcy George starting. I think I can see that orange helmet of Darcy, followed by Corey Canfield. Talking with Corey Canfield over lunch, and I also seen Gary McKinnon. For anyone that wasn't here round 5, Gary had a uncharacteristic get-off there in turn 11, and
Attention the paddock. 3-minute call, wave 6. 3-minute call, wave 6.
so we had that get-off getting onto the front straightaway, and he's still feeling the effects from that crash on the front straightaway with his shifter foot. So he's having issues a little bit there with shifting. So Corey saying he's going to go out to the first wave and see how Gary's feeling and how many laps he wants to put in this afternoon. So looking at the laps here, Wayne Canfield still holds the lead with 8 laps completed. David Vitan crossing the line, 7 laps, followed by Tony Martin. Jonathan Anderson with 5 laps, followed by Kathleen Coburn. I now have about a minute and a half before Blaise Fougere, the final rider, heads out as he makes his way here towards pit lane. See the sticker on that new rubber on board that Honda CBR 900. Looks like that's Scott Campbell that started this race off. I wasn't sure who it was there between himself and Paul Clark, but it was Scott Campbell that has decided to take the first leg. So looking at the lap times there, close is the closest there at the top. Looks like it's between Kathleen Coburn and Angus Campbell. Crossing the line only 0.3 of a second. I'll see if I can find them on the track. Here they come now, coming on to the front straightaway. It is definitely a close battle between the Wave 3 riders of Kathleen Coburn and Angus Campbell. But Blaise Fougier headed out onto the track, so that's all the riders here now. So now it comes down to the first rider to 62 laps. At the moment, Wayne Canfield with 9 laps, followed by David Vitan as well with 9. So they are now tracking down Wayne Canfield as they're on the same lap there now is David Vitan and Wayne Canfield. Looks like Corey Canfield using all the track out there, almost touching the grass there, coming onto the front straightaway. Let's see what his lap time is there. Hitting the 119s. You'll find the riders, they'll be a couple of seconds, maybe 1, maybe 2 seconds off their race pace. They know they got to last the whole 62 laps. So you'll see these riders thinking of the longevity over maximizing each lap. Now looks like David Vitan has moved into the lead. Tony Martin just behind him across the line. I shouldn't say just, he is 8.6 seconds back. Let's see if I can track the leader down. They may be oh, here comes the leader now onto the front straightaway. David Vitan down past this lap, down into the 18s. David Vitan, part of the Pat Patterson, David Vitan, Stephen Canfield group, sponsored by Asylum Racing. On board Pat Patterson's Honda CBR 600. Looking at the lap time, second place rider Tony Martin on board that Yamaha R3. Got down to the 19s. Excuse me. Down to the 19s. Last lap was in the 20s, but he's about a second and a half off of David Vitan's time. Blaise Fougier coming across a couple of bikes there down into turn 1. That's going to be the tough part about starting from the last wave and having that extra time, is he's going to have to pass a lot more bikes having that quicker time. So he'll be carving his way through the field for all those potentially 62 laps. Jonathan Anderson crossing the line. He's got 1 lap back from being third in this endurance race. Mentioned earlier that he's one of the 3 riders riding the Craig McInnes's Kawasaki 400. Sponsored by world-renowned Bedeck Facility and Nova Drilling. Craig McInnes's sponsor out there is Flexiglass. Picked that up near the end of the season. If I'm not mistaken, it was round 4. He was able to grab a sponsor there from Flexiglass. Great to see them supporting the sport. Just looking at, there's 2 corners for Jonathan Anderson to get close to Wayne Canfield. So coming out of turn 2 now, both of those riders. So he may try an outside move here in turn 3. He has. Looks like Angus Campbell. They went 3 wide there in turn 3. Angus Campbell getting excited out there on that Kawasaki 400, making it 3 wide between Jonathan Anderson, Angus Campbell, and Wayne Canfield. Now down the back straightaway, those 2 riders, so that's the 2 from wave 3. They're in the lead of that wave. Looking at their lap times, they're doing Angus Campbell's doing 17s out there. He is 2 laps back from David Vitan, as they're now coming onto the front straightaway, this group. So he's going to have to make up still about 3 minutes. 2.5, so they've made up 15 seconds or 30 seconds of that advantage that wave 2 had, because right now it's about say 2.5 minutes for those 2 riders, a little bit more than 2.5, so they've made up around 20 seconds. While we're waiting for this race to, as it's just started there, I want to run through some of the sponsors that has helped out SRL this season. I'll start off with our streaming sponsors. We have 2 of them that have helped us out with sponsorship. You'll see their logos on the YouTube feed there, and that is the first one is Empire Motorworks. Empire Motorworks, a full-service motorcycle shop located in Windsor, Nova Scotia, with a strong reputation for quality and craftsmanship. Empire specializes in servicing American bikes like Harley-Davidson, European models like Triumph, and a wide range of Japanese motorcycles. Whether you're looking for a full custom build, engine rebuilds, general service, or tire changes, Empire Motorworks has the skills and the experience to get the job done right. The other sponsor helping out the stream is Arc and Spark Electric, serving all of PI's electrical needs, from heat pumps and water heaters to full-scale robotic dairy operations. Arc and Spark has you covered. I was in the paddock talking with both Darcy and Mario and Corey Canfield. I told them that the race within the race is between you and between each other, I should say. Unfortunately, the way that the handicap worked out, we're back in wave number 4, so they're going to have to push hard out there this afternoon if they want to have a chance at the win. So I told them at least you guys can battle each other. And right now it is Corey Canfield that is ahead of Darcy George. Corey just crossing the line. Darcy, I believe oh no, here's Corey here now, coming onto the front straightaway. Darcy George coming around turn 10, so opened up about 10 seconds, I believe, here onto the front straightaway. Darcy putting in his fastest lap with a 1:18.7. Race time, Darcy is down low 16s. Not quite sure if he hit a 15 this year or not. If he did, it was a high 15. A rider on the move. Angus Campbell carving his way through the field. Has now moved up into the third place there, as we can see him now heading through turn 3. He is putting in a minute 18s with David Vitan, the leader, doing a minute 20. So he's making almost 2 seconds a lap. We got a rider coming in here. Who's that? That is Stanley Johnson. So they're going to look to make a rider change here. Looks like Colin Bell's getting ready as well. They may have done half-hour increments, maybe. I'm looking at the times. Yeah, about 15, maybe 20 minutes. Colin Bell there waiting for William to come around. I have a look there. William now coming through turn 9. Got his hand up. William now coming down pit lane. He'll be here in a second. Colin Bell getting ready to hop on. Well, looking at how many laps have been completed, we're about a third of the way through the race as they got close to 20 laps completed. So another 40 minutes or so to go. Oh, the rider on the move, Angus Campbell with a 1:16.2. Angus Campbell only 2 laps down now, sitting in third. He is the rider to watch. I'll keep an eye on him. He's also riding solo as well, so it's all going to come down to Angus managing the amount of energy he's putting into to racing here this afternoon. See if what those lap times, if they continue. But right now, it's coming off the back straightaway. I was talking with Angus in the paddock as well there this morning, and I was congratulating him getting into a 16 there It was 17. 17 got in and just touched the 16s. And he was saying this morning in practice he was out there doing 16s and he felt like it was so much energy at the beginning of the season to just try to even hit a 17, and now all that hard work paying off for Angus Campbell. Angus starting his racing here at Atlantic Motorsport Park on a KTM 390, and I remember that season. It was a few mechanical issues there that with that KTM, blowing head gaskets and other various mechanical issues, and really hard to keep the motivation going when you're not knowing whether your machinery is going to last the weekend. And he elected to get a Kawasaki 400. If it wasn't last year, it was the year before, and just was doing a couple of track days and getting in a couple of races here and there, and now this season finishing 5th in the Amateur 400 Championship. Oh, looks like David Vitan has finished his section. We'll see who's going out next. I believe that is Pat Patterson heading out next. Pat going out, and now that has brought that gap down to about 4 or 5 seconds. So we'll see. Pat Patterson. There's only 2 bike lengths separating the lead now through turn 3. Tony Martin doing some hot laps, where Pat Patterson just coming out there. So we'll see if Tony Martin is going to try an outside move here in turn 4. He is not holding back. He knows he has the speed as he's able to put in a few lap times there. So over the top of 5 has opened it up to about 1.5 seconds. So now Tony Martin taking over the lead of this 2025 Mack and Jack Memorial Endurance Race here at Atlantic Motorsport Park. Just seen Sarah Martin there on pit lane, giving Tony Martin the signal that he is in first place. Definitely some motivation. I'll keep an eye on his lap times. He's doing 121s last time by. We'll see if he has that extra motivation to get back into the 19s, which is his current fastest lap this afternoon. I'll run you through the top 5 here. Tony Martin on with 22 laps in the lead, followed by the Pat Patterson crew with 22 laps. Angus Campbell with 21 laps. Then Kathleen Coburn with 21, and then Jonathan Anderson with 21. And just as I thought the racer inside of me would be motivated to know that I was leading this race and push even harder, well, Tony Martin got that signal that he was in the lead, and he just put in his fastest lap down to a 19.6. So Tony Martin here onto the front straightaway. He is pushing hard, wanting to stay in the lead. Tony Martin is doing this solo, so he has to manage that endurance, but does have the luxury of not, you lose about 6-7 seconds coming down pit lane, or maybe a little bit more. So these riders now coming around the outside of turn 3, all got bottled up. Tony Martin got around all 3 of them. Tony Martin dicing through the markers here, coming around 4. Randy Bennett's riding solo. We'll see what the strategy is here. Maybe he's going to do gas right off the bat. So he is getting off the bike. Not sure, maybe he's going to do some adjustments. Something happening there with that super bike of Randy Bennett. So looks like he's wrenching there on that bike. He's looking at the back of the bike, not sure what's going on here. Randy Bennett down here. Looks like everything's fine. He's putting his leg back over the bike. He's good to go. We'll see these lap times kind of fluctuating from these riders. They'll have a clean lap one time, then they may have to navigate through some riders the next. So I'm assuming Tony Martin got hung up there in turn 3 that one time, so that's put him back to the 122s. Blaise Fougere going around the outside of Pat Patterson. Looks like Angus Campbell may try an inside move here of Pat, so they're carving through some back marker, or I wouldn't say back markers, going through some riders, as there's no back markers here in the endurance race. Everyone out there fighting to get that 62 laps. A little bit of shuffling over the order there. Looks like Jared Campbell, solo rider here this afternoon, moved up into the 5th place. He's got 25 laps just crossing the line, so he's only 1 lap back from Tony Martin. Doing close to the same lap times. He's about a 6/10 of a second quicker than Tony Martin, who Tony now crossing the line. So he's actually closer to 2 laps back there. Didn't realize Tony Martin was at the end of the lap. So Tony Martin with 27. We'll see how close Angus Campbell there is to Pat Patterson. He was 10 seconds faster than Pat last by. Looks like Blaise Fouchier getting hung up a little bit there with a couple of riders that are fairly close to his lap time. He's got Randy Bennett on a superbike in front of him. So you can see Encratis Roberts. So going to take a little bit more work to get around riders that are only a couple of seconds off your lap time. So he may try an outside move here, a 4 on Encratis Roberts. He is not. He's going to wait till he gets to the back straightaway and use the power of that CBR 900. Now over the top of 5. We'll see that horsepower differential there. Now able to get around Encratis Roberts. Rider in fourth is Kathleen Coburn. She started with Angus Campbell, so we'll see where Angus is. He was making up some good laps here. There's Kathleen there. So Angus is going into turn 3 and Kathleen Coburn going down to turn 1. So that is about 20 seconds in between those two riders. Kathleen Coburn sharing the riding this afternoon with Jonathan Head there. Two amazing people here to have in the paddock. Oh, Angus Campbell going up the inside of Darcy George in 7. Darcy held the line on the outside and he had to let off the gas. But then Angus let off the gas as well. So those two riders who battle it out in the lightweight category all season long, now here going down the front straightaway as they got passed there by Andy Hutchinson, who was on board a Yamaha R6. Darcy went out in the same wave as Andy Hutchinson. But unfortunately, the way that the waves went, he is like 5-6 seconds. Let's see Darcy's time, 1:21. He's done a 1:18, where Andy Hutchinson on that sport bike is doing 1:14s out there. So 4 seconds faster on that same wave. So just the way everything shuffled out there with the way the handicap worked this year. Darcy George sharing the ride with Mario Richard. Lap times came from his sport bike down to the 1:12s. Pat Patterson and Angus Campbell on the same lap now. Both of them with 29 laps completed. 41 seconds back is Angus Campbell. I'll see where those riders are there, so we'll see if I can find Pat Patterson. Pat there now coming on to onto the front straightaway. Angus Campbell down the back straight. So he has about 5-6 corners away from that second place. Is Angus Campbell now having to weave through a bit of traffic there in turn 9. Happened to notice Connor Warnell giving a wave there down the front straightaway, so we'll see if Phil Warnell now is going to take over. He has done, let's see there, he's done 26 laps. So about 4 laps away from the halfway, so it looks like it's getting close there for them to switch up riders if they have done the half and half. Keep an eye on Connor Warnell. He's now coming through turn number 9. He's got his leg out, so Connor Warnell is going to come in. So it looks like Phil Warnell is going to take over. Connor Warnell exiting the track there, making his way towards pit lane. See if I can track the leader there, Tony Martin. Currently with 32 laps completed. He's doing a 1:22 out there. Pat Patterson into the 1:28s. And Angus Campbell in third in the 1:19. So the rider still on the move, trying to track down the leader is Angus Campbell. Oh, looks like Mark Wilson giving the wave as well, that he is ready to come in. Talking with Mario Richard there in the paddock this morning. He said he was down into the 18s in practice. So we'll see there when he heads out for his stint there if he's able to close in on Corey Canfield, who is currently about half a lap up the road. But all he needs to do is make up a second or two a lap, and he'll be right there contending with that lightweight battle between those two riders that started in wave number 5. And Mark Wilson finishing his 32 laps here. Now Ruan Berdino. Well, looks like they're electing to do the gas now, so you'll see that Mark Wilson has that fire extinguisher. They got the bike off, the riders off, so they're going to be putting that gas in there now. And they're good to go here. Looks like they were looking at maybe some tire pressures as well. They know they got 32 laps to go, so they may have been adding. There we go. Ruan Berdino heading out for his approximately 32 laps. Here comes Colin Bell now onto the front straightaway through turn 11. Let him know 1 lap there to go. They're going to put in some gas as well, looks like, because they got the fire extinguisher ready to go by the pits. Really starting to get tight here in the laps for second all the way down to seventh. All on the same lap time there. Never noticed that Jonathan Anderson came in there a little while ago, so it looks like that was Angus McClarty running the middle of their that three-rider team. He's electing to take the middle 20 laps there. Currently sitting in the 8th place. And here comes Colin Bell now. We'll see him get off the bike. Looks like they're electing not to do gas right now. They're going to do it at the next one. So now here is William Fonsavon. Here we go. Darcy George giving the signal that he's going to be coming in here. Now across the line, Angus Campbell is able to get around Pat Patterson. So now that moves him up into the second place. He is currently 4 seconds faster than Tony Martin. He is 1 lap behind. I'll see where Tony Martin is here, because Angus now coming off the back straightaway. I'll see how much of that 1 lap distance he has. Here comes Tony actually onto the front straightaway, so he's got a lap and a few corners to make up there. Both those riders riding solo. Three seconds faster was Angus Campbell than the current leader, Tony Martin. We have about 25 laps left to go. So 25 laps and 3 seconds faster. So this is going to come down to the wire between those two. If Tony Martin is able to get back into those 119s, it will really put the pressure on Angus Campbell. Kathleen Coburn coming down pit lane. We'll see if they're going to get gas. Looks like they're getting a standout, so that's a sign they're going to get some gas there. So Ryder got to get off. They got to turn the bike off. Someone's holding the fire extinguisher. Someone's going to dump the gas in it. So when you do the gas stop, it adds another 10 seconds or so. So all the riders will have to make a small splash. I believe the R3s may be the only bike out there this afternoon that could do the whole 62 laps. The Kawasaki 400s need about 6 or 7 liters, but that's still enough that you have to take that time to get off the bike, turn it off, and fill it up. So the R3s do have that little bit of advantage with regards to not needing fuel. Save about 10 seconds there in that one pit stop. Just as I mentioned, it would help Tony to get down into the 19s, and he has. As the first and second place riders now are within the same corner. Though Angus Campbell is a lap down, he is now only about 0.2 of a second away from getting onto the lead lap as they're heading down the back straightaway. Rider in between them, I believe that is Scott Campbell. So there is Tony Martin, Scott Campbell, and Angus Campbell, all there heading towards turn 9. We'll see what happens here into turn 9 if Angus Campbell not able to get around Scott Campbell. So it may come down to the front straightaway for Angus Campbell to try to get onto the lead lap this time by. Angus able to get around Scott Campbell down the front straightaway, so we'll see what happens here out of turn 2. Angus Campbell now on the lead lap. He is going to have to make up 11 corners, but there is still 22 laps to go. See what kind of lap times here are going to happen between those two riders. It's going to be pretty close there. But they're not the only riders competing for this win this afternoon, as we were talking about the waves, so there's some fast riders behind them. One of them is Ruan Bardino. Ruan down into the 16s. He's got 36 laps, so he's going to have to make up 5 laps. On Tony Martin. So he's going to have to continue to find those 16s and 15s out here this afternoon. Oh, Ruan, he's pushing hard. Almost hit the grass on the front straightaway there. Hanging off the bike to keep it from going out onto the grass. Corrales Roberts coming down here into pit lane. Looks like they're just doing a rider change there. They don't have the standout, so it's just Corrales Roberts hopping off, Stanley Johnson hopping on, and they'll be right back out again. Quick rider change there. I think they only lost about 3 seconds with that quick pit stop. We're going to look at some lap times here. Angus Campbell, 18s there the last time. Tony Martin, 3 seconds back. Jarrett Campbell in third doing 120s. I believe that is still Scott Campbell out there. He's doing 121s. I believe, oh, here comes Scott Campbell right here. He's getting ready. Looks like they're grabbing the fire extinguisher. They may be doing the gas right now. They got the stand out, so it looks like it's gas this time. Ruin Berdino, I think he thinks he's riding a lawnmower. He wants to cut the grass there down the front straightaway. Pushing hard, but when you go through traffic like this, Ruin was in the 15s here, round 5, but having to navigate through traffic, his lap time was a 1:17 out there. Looks like they're making a runner change. Might be Greg McInnes now going on. Taking a bit of time. Oh, they are putting gas in the bike. So it is going to be Craig McInnes finishing off that team's efforts. Let's see where they're currently sitting. They are 8th. There's the lap times Ruin Berdino has been doing. Down to the minute 15s for Ruin. As we now have less than 20 laps to go, I'll run you through the order. It is Tony Martin, followed by Angus Campbell and Jarrett Campbell. In 4th is William Fonsavant and Colin Bell. 5th is Kathleen Coburn and Jonathan Head. 6th sees the crew of Pat Patterson, David Vitan, and Steve Canfield. 7th is Craig McInnes and Angus McClarty and Jonathan Anderson. 8th is Scott Campbell and Paul Clark. 9th, Stanley Johnson and Crodus Roberts. And making up the top 10 is Mark Wilson and Ruin Berdino. Again, Ruin getting down to the minute 15s there with a 15-3. I'd love to see him get into a 14 this afternoon. We'll see how, that was cute. Corey Canfield making a look over to Jonathan Head to a little bit of rivalry there happening down the front straightaway. Well, here we go. Angus Campbell coming on to the front straightaway here. I'll see where Tony Martin is. Tony Martin is coming into turn 9 here, so he's made up about 4 corners, so definitely marching towards taking over the lead here at the current pace that he's riding across the line down to a minute 17. Jarrett Campbell also pushing hard out there. Jarrett Campbell down to the 19s. Tony Martin might have got some inspirational hand signals there from Sarah Martin as he was now back and doing the fastest lap of the race. So she might have given some hand signals to let him know he's got to speed up here. Blaise Fougere across line. We'll see how Blaise is doing there. Blaise fastest lap at 13, did a 15 across the line. Unfortunately for Blaise, he's got to make up around 18 minutes or 12 if we're looking at wave 2. So tall order for Blaise this afternoon, but he is now only 5 laps away from Tony Martin. 5.5 as Tony's just crossed the line, making it 47, so that's 15 laps to go here. He's got 15 laps to go, and Angus Campbell 2 seconds faster than him there. That's last lap. Angus Campbell coming onto the front straightaway. Tony Martin going through turn 7. So he's made up another corner there over the last couple of laps. So this is definitely going to be close, at least between those two riders. We'll see how everything shakes up there with some of the faster riders coming up the line. One thing I never thought to consider is Tony Martin's on that R3, so he may not have to stop. I was talking to a few R3 riders, and they said they should be able to go the distance. Well, Angus Campbell is on that Kawasaki 400, so I believe he has to make a splash. May only need 6-7 liters there in that Kawasaki 400, but that's enough for him to come in and have to make up another maybe 10 seconds coming into pit lane. Angus Campbell, he's coming in now, so he's getting his gas now as Angus Campbell. He's coming in right there. There he is coming in. He's a solo rider, so only thing they're getting is gas. They got the stand underneath it there. We'll see if he makes a quick stop. He's only 30 seconds back from the lead. So we got the extinguisher coming over. We got the gas cask coming off. Looking inside. Valuable time as Tony Martin has crossed the line. He's now not on the lead lap anymore. So he needs about 6-7 liters in that Kawasaki 400 to make it to the end. Oh, looks like he's taking his gloves off. Getting a bit of water. So now this puts it back in the hands of Tony Martin. They're still filling that tank up. Angus with his helmet off, so Tony Martin is able to extend this lead. Angus was on the lead lap, but Tony Martin crossed the line there just a little while ago, so we'll see if Tony has to come in too. I don't know what his plan is. It was only one of the riders, or two of them that I was talking to, that the may be able to make it the whole distance. So we'll see how this ticks down. Tony Martin coming on to the front straightaway, so there's another lap. So it looks like Colin Bell as well. Here comes William Fonsavant on to the front straightaway. He had to look over to see if he was ready to come in, so we'll see if William Fonsavant is coming in. He may do another lap here. So now that moves Jarrett Campbell up into second place, followed by William Fonsavan. Getting some cheers from the crowd there for Angus Campbell as he's coming back onto the track. He is now 2 laps back from Tony Martin. That's what can happen when you do this solo. Putting a lot of energy out there. When you do it with the team, get away with a quicker break. You're just hopping on or hopping off, hopping on. But when you're doing this solo, you got to take a couple of seconds there sometimes just to get a breather. We'll see. Here's William Fonsavan coming down here. He's going to get some gas. I'll keep an eye here on Corey Canfield. Looks like they look like to do the switch here. I'll see where Corey is. Corey Canfield coming off the back straightaway. I'll see if he's got his arm up, if he knows that he's coming in this time. Now coming out of turn 9, we'll see if Corey Canfield is coming in this time. He is not. He's going to continue on here, so they may be giving him the signal here. He's coming onto the front straightaway. He's looking over. He gave the nod, so Corey Canfield will be coming in. This time by Gary McKinnon, taking over on that Kawasaki 400. Now it looks like it's going to come down here at the moment between Tony Martin and Jarrett Campbell. We'll see where those two riders are on the track. Right now, Tony Martin with 52 completed and Jarrett Campbell with 51. Tony Martin coming on to the front straightaway, so he has a lap and a bit ahead of Jarrett Campbell, trying to track him down. Here comes Corey Canfield now. He's coming off turn 10 here, heading down into pit lane here. So I believe this is Jarrett Campbell. Yep, Jarrett Campbell coming on to the front straightaway. So he is about a lap and a half back from the lead. He was 2 seconds faster, but he only has 10 laps to go. Well, actually, Tony Martin only has 9 laps to go. We'll see where that leader is. He's jetting down the back straightaway, so make that 8 and a bit laps to go for Tony Martin to bring this on home. They put a little bit of gas on that Kawasaki 400, and Gary McKinnon now making his way down pit lane. Finish off the season with 12 laps to go for them. Well, let's look at the order. We're currently sitting with Tony Martin, Jarek Campbell in second, Kathleen Coburn and Jonathan Head in third. They are about 3 corners ahead of the fourth place rider, which is Angus Campbell, who's coming onto the front straightaway now. Angus times are 1:18s to the 1:20 of Kathleen Coburn. So, and Jonathan Head, actually Jonathan Head is out there for the second part of this, so this could come down to a battle across the line for third, as here I'm seeing Craig McInnes putting in a 1:16.8, so he himself, Angus Campbell, and Kathleen Coburn all on the same lap. They're going to be battling it out for third here this afternoon. Let's see where they are out on the track. Kathleen Coburn heading into turn 9. We'll see where Angus Campbell is. He's coming into turn 7, so 2 corners separates that third rider for third place. Here comes Craig McInnes, so those 3 riders are only separated by 3 corners. With some clear track, Craig McInnes 17.7. Only 0.3 of a second faster than Angus Campbell. Holy. That was close between Phil Warnell and Wayne Canfield through turn 11. Gonna track this third place battle as Tony Martin continues to hold on to that lead, currently by about 2 laps. Jonathan Head crossing the line. Angus Campbell coming onto the front straightaway. So now it is the length of the front straightaway for that third place overall. And the amount of laps that are done, soon as the leader finishes 62 laps, the checkered flag comes out. So Angus Campbell and Craig McInnes only have about 5.5 laps to go. Leader across the line, leaves 5 laps to go for Tony Martin. Jonathan Head now coming through turn 10. Angus Campbell in turn 9. This is going to be close here for this third place in the race. Looks like David Vitan has hopped back onto the bike of Pat Patterson to finish off the race this afternoon. Look at the lap times. Another 1.5 seconds has made up there on Jonathan Head there. I'm going to keep an eye on those 2 bikes. Jonathan Head in turn 3. Angus Campbell coming out of turn 2. So with about 4 laps to go, this may come down to the last lap between Jonathan Head and Kathleen Coburn. And Craig McInnes isn't done either, as he's done a 16.7. He is 6 seconds back from Angus Campbell, so he is pushing hard. He is still in the hunt as well for that podium position. He's coming off the back straightaway now. Where's Jonathan Head? He's coming through turn 9. So Craig McInnes needs to make up what looks to be about 10 seconds. Trying to find Tony Martin. Rose side by side. Andy Hutchinson and Colin Bell almost came together on the front straightaway. Holy, that was close. That must have been an inch between the two riders. There's Tony Martin coming on across the line. That means there's going to be 3 laps to go. Jarrett Campbell doing 121s there, but he's comfortably in the second place position as he's got a lap on Kathleen Coburn, Angus Campbell, and Craig McInnes. We'll see how much closer it's gotten as Jonathan Head crosses the line. There's Angus Campbell. Not sure if he knows how close he is to that podium. Let's look at 6.7 seconds back, and he was only 0.3 of a second faster than Jonathan Head that time. Only a couple of corners to go. Or sorry, a couple laps to go. Time is ticking down here. Tony Martin now coming onto the front straightaway. This is going to be 2 laps to go here for Tony Martin. I believe Angus Campbell is just running out of time here. He is still going to make up the length of the front straightaway. Craig McInnes, though, he's pushing hard to get up into 4th. They were both those riders, only 2 seconds separating the two, so that is for a switch in position, moving the Craig McInnes, Angus McClarty, and Jonathan Anderson up into the 4th if he's able to get around Angus Campbell. There, let's track this leader. He's going to get the last lap flag here. Here comes Tony Martin through turn 10 onto the front straightaway. Last lap flag in hand here. Oh, Craig McInnes going up the inside of Angus McClarty here into turn 9. Nope, not close enough to pull the move off. So he's going to have 1 lap to go here to see if they're able to jockey here with position onto the front straightaway. Craig McInnes side by side with Angus McClarty down into turn 1. It's still Angus McClarty holding off. Angus McClarty. It is Craig McInnes being held off by Angus Campbell. Well, where's this leader? He's got to be getting close. Tony Martin through turn 9. 2 corners to go for Tony Martin. on board that Yamaha R3. Now making his way through turn 10. On to the front straightaway. Here comes Tony Martin with the win. Across the line, checkered flag flying. Let's see this battle here. Angus McClarty holding off Craig McInnes. We'll see if he tries to move here into turn 9. This is for a jockey of position here. Craig McInnes may not know that he has to get around Angus Campbell. I'm all excited here, getting names mixed up. Is he going to try an inside move here? He's not. So all onto the front straightaway here. Drag race down to the front. Is he got it? No, it is Angus Campbell holding off Craig McInnes at the line. I was focused on that battle for fourth and fifth, but across the line, Jarrett Campbell in second, followed by Kathleen Coburn and Jonathan Head making up the podium. Fourth, Angus Campbell. Craig McInnes, Angus McClarty, and Jonathan Anderson in fifth. Liam Fonsavon and Colin Bell in sixth. We have Pat Patterson and David Vitan and Steve Camfield coming across the line in seventh. Eighth sees Mark Wilson and Ruan Bernino. Ninth is Andy Hutchinson, followed by Scott Campbell and Paul Clark. 11th sees Randy Bennett, followed by Stanley Johnson and Cronus Roberts. 13th is Blaise Bougier, followed by Phil and Connor Warnell. 15th is Corey Camfield and Gary McKinnon. 16th, Darcy George and Mario Richard. Making up the field is Wayne Camfield. Tony Martin now out there doing his victory lap. Checkered flag in hand, heading off the back straightaway. And as Tony Martin is making his way through a couple of corners, I want to send big thanks out to everyone that has come out to watch the racing this afternoon. Perfect way to end the season here. Lovely weather at Atlantic Motorsport Park. Some nice battling happening out there this afternoon with 17 solo and team riders out there from all different machineries and riding ability. And with Tony Martin coming home with the win. Thank you to all the corner marshals that were able to volunteer your time this afternoon. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do the sport that we love to do and watch. Thank you to all the board members. I have a feeling that there's going to be a shuffle up there next year, so thank you to all the members that have contributed here in 2025, and I'm sure you're going to hear all the praise and thanks at the AGM that I'm not sure of the date. I'm guessing it's close to November. But thank you to all those members. Thank you to the timing and scoring. This is a busy one for them this weekend. There isn't a loop that goes through pit lane, so Marley and Sam have to manually add a lap every time you come in pit lane, so they're sitting there constantly looking through at that whole 62 laps, adding laps manually. So thank you for that time and the efforts. Thank you to the head marshals down there on pit lane. Extra work there for you as well, running down pit lane to make sure the riders are adhering to the safety protocols for filling gas and changing riders. And thank you to all the riders. Great racing out there this afternoon. And it's also great to see that the Marshall logbook, I don't know if Jarrett Campbell can hear me down there. Jarrett, can you hear me? Yeah. She almost had a complete clean logbook for the first time she's ever done it, but unfortunately Jarrett Campbell decided to take a breather there on the track, and she had to put one entry into the logbook this afternoon. So the prize for Jarrett Campbell is 2 thumbs down from Kelsey up here in the tower. But yeah, great racing. Thank you all that come. Thank you to the competitors. It's been a great season. And unfortunately, this is the last time I'm going to say this in 2025. But the lights are out until 2026 at AMP.